Welcome back to another Thursday Live. I'm actually in a very big jumper, which I plan to change. This is very boring, you don't need to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And then I remembered that our ops manager, Chris, has just taken over creating the IG Live covers because I'm terrible at them. And then I remembered I had to get him to create one for this. So I was like rushing around trying to get him to create it. Anyway, we're going to get on to some much more interesting chat, which is with the fabulous Carla Molinaro, who I have for literally following her recent feat. But we're going to focus solely today on her next big race, which I'll let you know. Hello!
Hello! How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. I feel like I literally have 10,000 questions for you, but I'm going to save that for another day because I've got one little question on it because I have to know a few things. But we're mainly going to focus on Scotland today, which I'm very excited about, which I think will it be your next big race?
Yeah, will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump my phone up a little bit because I feel like I've got like a very makeshift home tripod going on, which is like 10 books and a water bottle. There we go. There we go. We're back. Well, first things first, how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm all right. My legs are still a bit battered, but it's all right. I can nearly walk again.
That's good. That's good. Otherwise, feeling okay apart from sitting down being a slight issue.
Yeah. Oh, I can sit down again now. Like the first 2 days was just emotional. Like it's the worst. You can't sit down. You can't stand up. Lying down hurts.
And how long were you in Arizona for afterwards? Like 2 days?
Yeah, just 2 days. Like I wanted to stay there longer, but the world doesn't let me at the moment, so had to come back. So no exploring, but next time.
Not this time. We're already planning a trip there, so it's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, well, just in case anyone who wasn't glued to their screens like I was during your recent endeavour doesn't know, tell us very quickly about what you have most recently done.
So on the weekend, I was very lucky to be able to get on a real start line with actual humans at the HOKA Project Carbon X2 race, where there was a whole bunch of us from around the world taking on 100 kilometers in the lovely desert of Arizona. So yeah, it was very cool.
Very, very cool. And you absolutely smashed it. You're amazing. Absolute inspiration to watch. My poor boyfriend, well, actually, I think he quite enjoyed it. I was like, we're losing our weekend, by the way. Because I need to check in with this every 5 minutes, which I did. I actually managed to literally got quite good regular check-ins. So I was very happy with that. We even had it on the television at one point. It was very okay, well, we've got loads to catch up on apart from, the obvious, which I'm sure we'll do at a later date. But Scotland is the next big race for you, which is our 125 kilometre event in May. It's the first event that we've done in Scotland. Well, not the first event we've done in Scotland, the first 2-day proper ultra event we've done in Scotland. And we're so, so excited to have you there. So 125 kilometres over 2 days, quite a big distance. What are the tactics?
Yeah, it's quite a tricky one because whenever you get for me, whenever I get on a race line, you get so excited with wanting to just go as hard as you can. But with the multi-day races, I think the way to succeed in them is holding back on that first day, is being trying to be as sensible as you can. And it's just trying to find that line, which it's such a fine line between going hard but not going too hard that you destroy your legs and you can't walk the next day. And I think where the route is so hilly as well, it is about just being slightly cautious, and then hopefully your legs are still good to go on the second day, where you can really open it up and just smash it down those hills after the first epic climb of the day. Which does look like you're climbing Everest, but
Don't say we don't like to give you a bit of a challenge, I mean, what, 75 kilometres amongst a few hills? It's
exactly.
all fun and games. And you touched on that kind of holding back for that first day, which can be really difficult, especially with many of us who haven't had races this year. So as soon as one comes up, we just want to kind of go all in. how do you mentally manage to kind of keep something in the tank for day two? Like, what's your thought process? It's obviously, aside from the like, I actually need my legs on the second day. But what are you kind of, how do you manage that mentally? Because physically, if you can't run on day two, you can't run on day two. The mental game is huge, right?
Yeah, and I think actually because you know you've got to go again the next day, like that's always in the back of your mind. So mentally it's not that difficult because it's not like you're racing in a couple of days next. You know you have to hold it back, and where I guess you've just got to keep like looking forward to crossing that actual finish line. So like keeping that in the back of your head, and yeah, just checking in with yourself as you go through the race. And I think you can probably go pretty hard on the uphills, but it's the downhills which are going to get you and which are going to smash your legs up. So yeah, it's just holding back that little bit, but I think it's always in the back of your head. So yeah, mentally I think it's just being aware that the next day you've got to go and race again.
Yeah, especially if it's your kind of first event of this kind. I think there's two sides to it, right? Because I'm sure you've experienced this far better than I have. I just think I'm experiencing it, and actually I'm not. Your body actually does respond, like, it's really smart and it knows what you're doing. And no matter how kind of tired you do come into the first day, you'll wake up and actually be really surprised by how your body has kind of adapted to the situation. Almost you've got to go again. And you like it's almost a little bit of a shock because you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm a bit stiff, and then you start running and actually you're okay. So I guess a little bit of that belief that actually, you know, as you said, it's a really fine line and you want to make sure you don't overstep the mark, but you can often go a little bit more than you think you can.
Yeah, and it is like you will be sore when you wake up the next day. Like it'd be weird if you weren't. You've just run 75 kilometers. That's a long way. But I think what is actually good is that you do have a massive climb like the first morning of the second day, which will help actually ease your legs into it. Like it might look a little bit scary on the graphs, but actually walking it out, shaking your legs out and getting rid of a bit of that soreness will help. And then hopefully by the time you're at the top of that hill, you can then start running again and your legs would have eased off. So if you wake up the next morning and you're in a world of pain and your legs hurt, like that is normal, like that is meant to happen. But like you said, like your body has this like incredible way of adapting and it will just start running again after a little bit. But yeah, take it easy for the first couple of kilometers and then you'll get into your stride and you'll forget kind of that you raced 75k the day before.
I'm actually just going to touch on something that I hadn't sent over just quickly, because I remember you saying you're in so much pain. You're normal to be in 75k. Sorry. You're normal to be in pain at 75k. It'd be good if I could get my words out. Now, I watched you at 75k at the weekend, and your form was impeccable. Literally, you looked like you could have kept running for days and days and days. Now, I know you said to me you're in pain, but you did not look like it. You looked so comfortable and so kind of easy in your stride. So what are things that people should look out for with their form? Because when you start to get tired, obviously your form kind of gets a little bit worse and as you start to fatigue. So what are things people should kind of keep an eye out for and always check in with? It's quite a nice distractor as well in terms of their form stays. Ali said so true.
I think like one of the like most important things with like running form is you need to do the prep before the race, and it's one thing that like ultra runners miss out, and it's keeping those speed sessions in your program. Like your speed and your intervals are what make you efficient at running and what make you have nice form. And if you keep those, and you need to keep those sessions all the way up until the week of the race, don't cut them out, because those are the ones that when you start to get tired, your body will still know how to run and still know how to keep that stride pattern going. And even though like I had like volunteers on the weekend like cheering like you look amazing, and I seriously felt like I was like a wounded buffalo, like just hopping around the course, like I was in a world of pain because my quad had seized up. But yeah, I think my body, because I'd done all that speed work, my body still knew how to run like fluidly and efficiently. So it's not so much on the day, but you need to kind of put that work in the lead up to the race to help you on the day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, I mean, if you do it, and I saw you at 90k, and you looked fine, so if you need some further inspiration, go check out Carla at about 90k, look like cruising around the last 10k of 100. Disgusting split. Okay, so we've touched on the distance, and we've touched a little bit on the hills, but 2,000 meters on the first day, 1,300 meters on the second day. It's quite a hilly course. You've got some good climbs in there. Firstly, getting up and down hills most efficiently. Sort of any tips you have for that, and then also, I guess again, even taking it up a notch, how do you make sure you're most efficient on tired legs? I know a lot of it's kind of the sort of underlying law with ultra running that a lot of people do walk up the hills, and that's totally okay. Is the best way to kind of tackle those, especially if you're new to it.
Yeah, so you definitely want to put hill training in your program, and in kind of two different ways. So like your normal typical hill sprints where you want to go and do hill reps, and with a course like this you probably want slightly longer hill reps that are going up to like 4 or 5 minute hills, which I know some people might struggle with, especially in London where there's not hills that are that big. But you know, maybe when you can travel again, like putting it into your diary to like get out to the North Downs or the South Downs, and do those longer hill reps, because they'll really help you out. And you want to do uphill and downhill reps. So I think this is where a lot of people miss this part of their training, is running fast uphill and also running fast down the hill and like smashing your legs up a bit, because your body will then adapt to that. When it comes to racing, it will be slightly less emotional. And then also incorporating hills within your long runs. So I wouldn't do every long run on the trails, but I'd probably alternate one weekend road, one weekend trail. And on those trail runs, making sure that you've got a hilly course and you are like working on those hills. And then it's finding that line between, can you run up the hill and then do you need to walk up it? So there'll be a point where you're running up it the same pace as you can walk up it, and it's knowing in your body when to switch, because there's no point jogging up it at a pace you can walk. You might as well just hike it up, and that will come from training and knowing your body, and just like checking in with yourself as you're going along the race and being like, actually I can walk just as quick as this. And then, you know, you're switching your run to a walk, but at the same time, not being lazy and being like, well, I'm just going to walk up this hill, when actually some of them might not be that bad and you can run up it a lot quicker. You can keep that flow going in your legs. So it's finding that balance, which will just come through training and practice. And if you don't get it right the first time, then, you know, there's loads of opportunities to do it again.
I think it's also like, I mean, I've run with you up and down hills, and I feel like you make it look a lot easier than I do. But so if you want a challenge, just chase Carla up and down hills. But I think it's also, it is sort of slightly down to individual, like you said, right? Like I like to think, and I slightly, you know, questioning myself when I'm running with you, but I actually find it a lot easier to run up hills than I do walk up hills. My best friend Emily can literally like power hike up these, like, she's a machine. I don't know how she gets up them so quickly. So I guess it is, like you said, sort of practicing and seeing what works for you, and just checking in with yourself to make sure you're not just walking because you're lazy.
Yeah. Which is not that you're lazy doing 75k, but
if you're going to do it, you may as well get the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gathered this is a big challenge, lots of climbing, lots of kilometers. It's the terrain isn't super technical, but it's still something to work with and be aware of. So what will training look like for you? Assuming this is going to be quite a big race for you, you're obviously a very good runner, so we're looking forward to seeing you on the podium. So what will that training look like for you over the next few months?
Yeah, so where I've been pretty much doing most of my training on the road for my last race, I'm now going to switch to trails. I won't do all my training on the trail, just because you can get a lot more speed on the road, and it's kind of links back to like your running efficiency, like what I was saying earlier. But I'll probably start doing one of my interval sessions on the trails, and that'll either be tempo kind of running, get used to running a little bit quicker and jumping over things as I run, and building a bit more confidence in doing that, because I haven't done it for a while and sometimes it is a bit scary. And then hill reps on the trails, and then I will start swapping, alternating a road run and a trail run every other weekend, and also back-to-back long runs as well. So getting my body used to doing, I won't go up to the full distance, 75 on the Saturday and 50 on the Sunday, but a shorter version of that, just so my legs are used to getting back out there and doing double days.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is a big thing, is that, like we talked about earlier, it can be quite a shock, can't it, when you start doing those, and we're so, if you train for something like a marathon, you're so used to having your big run and then having like 1 or 2 rest days and really easy days afterwards. When actually training for something like this, you obviously can't have that. So I'm just gonna scroll through the questions. Got my first ultra. Okay, we'll jump back to that one at the end because it's not Scotland specific. 75k miles is 46.6 miles. If you say so. I've got terrible conversion skills.
It's about that.
It's the start of the call. What's the next big race for Carla? It is Ultra X Scotland. So, okay, let's jump back to these. I just saw a few coming in, but most of them were basically saying you're a machine. So, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to take on Ultra X Scotland, or perhaps something similar, a 2-day race over relatively hilly terrain?
So yeah, practice your hills, getting out there, doing hill reps and run on the trails as much as you can. I know some people don't have trails near them, so maybe factor in when we can, like some weekends away, so your body does get used to running on that terrain. Practice your double days, so like we just said, running on a Saturday, running on a Sunday, like 2 long runs back to back, and then getting your kit right. That's going to be a big thing. You need trail shoes for a race like this. I know some people don't want to get road and trail shoes, but it will make your life a million times easier when you can like grip onto the rocks and trails. It will make you have more fun. And then practicing with your race pack and your race nutrition. Get that running pack early. Start using it, start hydrating, eating ice buns on your run. Practice that like as soon as you can, because they can feel a little bit weird. And even with my racing vest, I've actually got it, I got my mum to like sew it so it like fits me properly, because they never quite fit right. So take the time to get it to fit your body, so it's not sloshing and bouncing all over the place when you're running.
Yeah, because then also it rubs you a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
You don't want that. We've had a few questions come in, but I'm gonna just jump to these ones and then we'll go back to those ones. Someone said ice buns, I'm in. What is your goal for the race?
To win.
Say that. How, right?
Yeah, easy. Yeah, I can beat him.
Yeah. Just attach yourself to his bag. He's only got right? 20 minutes.
It's going to be awesome to see him running. Like, he's such a nice runner, like has such like a beautiful running style. So I think that's going to be really exciting. I say that I probably won't try and run as fast as him, but I'm an idiot and I know I'm probably going to chase him up the first hill and smash my legs up. So, standard.
Legs up. So at least you'll be following your own advice.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's have a look. This is actually a good question. So when doing a double weekend, like a double run day, would you go harder on the first day or harder on the second day?
So I'd actually probably go harder on the first day. So you can get like you can almost try and do like a quality session on, let's say on the Saturday. You can add some tempo reps in, you can go a bit faster, just because your legs are going to be tired the next day. And then you can just slog it out on the Sunday. It just means one of those sessions is a little bit better. In my training for the 100k, in the beginning, I tried to do it the other way around and it didn't really work. I found because of your mileage in the week, you're quite tired by the time it gets to the weekend. So having a quality on the Saturday, a slightly easier, longer run on the Sunday, I found for me was the best way to do it. But play around with it and like try and, you know, it might work. I know in the race you're doing it the opposite way round, but in a race you've probably had a 2-week, 10-day taper, and you're feeling a lot fresher and you haven't got all those miles in your legs. But yeah, like like from now, there's plenty of time before Ultra X Scotland. So like mix it up and try what works for you. But for me, definitely harder first, then easier the next day.
Sure, definitely. Getting loads of comments coming in now. Someone asks when you're running Comrades again.
Whenever it's on.
As soon as possible. What does Carla do to occupy her mind during an ultra? Just thinks a cake, right?
So on the weekend, I was counting down my laps and so we had to do 9 laps. I had to try and remember which lap I was on. So that was a fun game. I was like, and then I do things like, I'll try and guess what kilometre I'm at. So I'll be like, okay, I think I'm at 58 kilometres, and then I'll wait till my watch beeps, and then I'll look, and then if I'm over, that's exciting. If I'm under, it's rubbish. So I play games, and then the last 20k, I normally like count down the Ks. So yeah, literally 20, 19, because they go quite quickly. I find that the beep on my watch gives me something to look forward to. And then also when like I'm eating every 30 minutes, drinking every 10 minutes. So that kind of keeps me occupied, like thinking about when to eat and drink next. And the thing is, like something on like Ultra Trail Scotland, like that's just going to be really pretty. So I think the scenery will distract you a lot more than running around a motor racing track 9 times, which is a little bit boring.
I'll be honest, and it's not like it's lined with supporters, is
No,
it?
no. Fences.
I feel like I hit a nerve there. No.
No.
Okay. Someone has asked about trail shoes that you recommend.
So if I'm doing a short trail run, like anything under 20k, I use the HOKA Torrents. They're like a really nice, lightweight, fast shoe. So I'll probably use them in training quite a bit for like the tempo heel rep type sessions. And then for racing and my long runs, I'll use the Speed Goat. They're super comfy. They've got loads of cushioning and the grip's really good. So I'll kind of swap between those. But race day, I'll use the Speed Goat.
Amazing. We can always pop this in messages if people forget it or need more information. We can direct you to Carla, who'll be able to talk you through all of her shoes, I'm sure.
Yes. I have a shoe shop in my house.
Someone has asked, who is your main competition? Obviously, Pal.
Yeah. Pal. I don't know what other girls are racing. Do you know?
So Meryl Cooper is
cool.
a sort of female pro athlete. And then I'm not sure actually if Katie's doing it, but a sort of friend of Ultra X who we all want to go pro because she's amazing. In fact, you've met. No, you haven't. No, you haven't met her. No. Katie Sloan
Cool.
would also be. I'm sure if she's going to do it. Someone actually, this is quite a nice question. Never done an ultra, but I have been tempted. When did you know you wanted to give it a go?
It's like one of those things that you don't really know. You just have to like go and do it. And I found that I had built up through the distances and I had done a couple of marathons, and then my first ultra was 46k, so just over the marathon distance. And where I think like the Ultra X events are really nice, that you can go and do the 50k on the second day and you get the feel of like the whole weekend and everything that's going on, but like dipping your toe into those shorter distances without throwing yourself into like 100 miles in one go, which is pretty big. So yeah, you don't really know. It's a bit, I think, like, you know, I don't know if I like oysters, but if I try them I might. So same with an ultra, like you just got to give it a go. But most people I know that have done an ultra, like they hate it the next day, they question their sanity, and then within about a week they've signed up to another one. So
Exactly.
Just,
Exactly. I'm really hoping it's going to happen. By the way, who I'm sorry, about 10 minutes ago decided to blow dry his hair. I don't know if you can hear that. Started going. But I really hope for him, but sadly it didn't quite. But he hasn't done an ultra, he's only done a marathon, so maybe. But you do just, and it also depends on the event or the race, right? I think
yeah.
I've not done a huge amount, so you'll probably have a better idea on this than me. But I know for certain at Ultra X events, it's a real atmosphere, and like you're all like in it together, and it's a real kind of community feel, and everyone's excited, and the buzz, even outside of the actual running, so great. It's almost something you're just desperate to be a part of again. So I think there is something about the community and the atmosphere at the events as well.
Yeah, I think ultra running is very different to road running, where like everyone, like even if you don't know someone, you can just walk over and have a chat, and you'll make a friend, and you'll chat to people along the course, and everyone gives each other high fives. They're almost, people race hard, but there's a lot more fun involved in them. It's kind of like you're going through like the same battle together, so you can share your war stories at the end.
Yeah, Jamie always says you experience the highest highs and the lowest lows in these races, which is pretty bang on. I mean, we'd never met, and we just decided to go to the Peak District for a day, didn't we?
Yeah.
We will be doing as soon as we're allowed again. Okay, final question, actually. Someone has asked, one, if you're still aching, which we a little bit we've touched on, but what's your kind of best recovery tips? You are the queen of recovery. If anyone's seen Carla's latest Instagram post, it's got like 10 million donuts. Queen of cake-based recovery. But what are your other recovery tips?
Ice baths are really good if you can hop in one. I know they're slightly emotional, but they do actually really help your legs recover. So as soon as you've finished a race, just hopping in one of those, and then like some movement. So we actually, on the Monday after the race, we walked 8 kilometers in total to go and get some M&Ms. Yeah. That was a good walk. And then a bit of like, my legs are still pretty sore, like I still can't really stretch, but I'm hoping by tomorrow I might be able to do a little bit of yoga, a little bit of stretching. It just hurts a bit at the moment. And then as soon as you can, try and get a massage, and get like your whoever's doing your sports massage and stuff for you to help you with some stretching, like, because I find if they can do some, it's called like PNF stretching, you get like a bit more range in your muscles, and it will just help you move a little bit better. But also listen to your body. Like some of the guys after the race on the weekend were like out running the next day because they're mental. And I think you might feel like you're fine, but taking, like I plan to take at least a week off running, maybe 2, because there's so much going on inside your body. Like your hormones are all over the place. Your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, is elevated. You might not see it, but it is. And just having that like respect for your body, you're not going to lose fitness in 2 weeks. And taking that time to recover properly will mean that you can race again in a couple of months' time. And if you go back it too soon, you're just going to smash yourself up.
Yeah, it's so worth taking that time off. And actually, then when you come back, you appreciate it so much more, right? You're excited, ready to go again, rather than being almost a bit easing on the side of caution. Okay, I'm very aware that we've got -1 minute, but I'm going to do 3 quick fire questions because they're good questions, and then that's the quickest way of doing them. So, first question, top tip for someone taking on their first ultra?
Just go for it. Like,
why not?
Have fun. Yeah.
Second quick fire question, why do you run?
So I can eat cake.
Absolutely bang on, because it says yourself. And third question, my favourite, what's your favourite cheese?
Oh, baked camembert.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good. These with all of them. I'm glad we decided to do Carla, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. It was amazing to watch you perform at just the most incredible level of athletic endeavour. That made no sense, but you know what I mean. And we've had you involved over the last few weeks with our Quarantine to Qualify runners who are taking on their race this weekend.
No, I'm excited.
Me too. So thank you so much for being a part of what we do, and it's been lovely chatting to you, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
Awesome. See you soon for a run and
Yes.
nice runs.
Yes, absolutely. See you later.
Bye.